I have so many questions about karma today.
So, what is karma? Karma is something that is man made, which we carry from many lives.
I assume that when you take up deeper practices, karmas get neutralized quicker.
You cannot say neutralized. While trying to complete those karmas, we are creating more karmas.
So, would you say that the core skill to be upgraded here is to control your desires on a very deep level? So many people around me trying to accumulate wealth, thinking that when I have all that wealth, it's going to be the perfect life. And then you become that wealthy and maybe you lose all your health.
Sometimes property, money, they come to you as bad karmas.
Really?
Yeah. I met a diamond merchant which had gone through earthquakes overnight. All his property invested in diamonds and the shop. And just when he woke up, he was a beggar on the street.
I know that the spiritual episodes of TRS have their own audience. So the intention from here on is to bring you specific topics related to the realms of spirituality with our subject experts. Guru Sakala Maa returns on TRS. It was one of the most loved episodes from last year. I hope that through the course of this particular episode, you gain a deeper understanding about karma, about your own life, and about the practical way to live a spiritual life. This is Guru Sakala Maa on TRS. Ma, welcome back to TRS. So nice to be sitting with you.
Yeah, I am also feeling quite excited to come back again.
Yeah. Congratulations on the upcoming book.
It's ready almost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of energy in your books. There's a lot of power in your books. That's what I'll say, because I do feel that there are higher masters writing them through you. Correct me if I'm wrong.
100%. It's true.
Even in the podcast, there's a higher force that speaks through some people sitting on that seat. How are you?
I'm good. Going on.
Yeah. I have so many questions about karma today.
Wow.
That I was thinking about what to speak to you for the last week. Yeah, I have so many questions about the hastening of karma once you begin sadhana, because effectively you're pulling the divine to yourself. Therefore, I don't think you gain good karma by praying. I think you neutralize your own karma. If you think I'm saying something wrong, please correct me. But I would love to know, one, how do you explain karma to a beginner? And two, to an advanced knowledge seeker. It's two very sharp but important questions.
This is one of my favorite topics. And I have explored this at my personal life level for the last 35-40 years. So, karma theory as such plays a very vital role in our spiritual path. If we don't pay attention to it, or if we don't have interest to explore that realm of existence that it's inside of you, our spiritual path is always a digression. So, what is karma? I take the name of Swami Rama. He has written a beautiful book on karma. It includes everything that is possible to think about on karma. It's called Freedom from the Bondage of Karma. Karma is something that is man made, and we are not spiritual, and we are more towards the worldly life. Then we are clueless about what this karma is all about and what kind of a role it plays in our life, past, present, and future also. Karma is something which we carry from many lives, past lives. And in all our past lives, we have written so many things. And in every new life, we carry more desires, more karmas, and we write it, overwrite it, and we overwrite it, and we overwrite it. So, with the multiplicity of rebirths, all our desires which are written down, and all the karmas that we have performed, they all get jumbled up. And we are clueless how this life is led by us. This is the state of karma of every human individual. In the sense, what is this present life? Spirituality says your present life is nothing but your past desires driven life.
So, what we experience as karma in this life could be an outcome of what you've done 3 or 4 lives ago as well.
So many lives,
All the lives
not
that you're,
necessarily immediate previous life.
and you're just living out all those desires, as well as, for lack of better words, results or punishments, even in some cases. Punishment is a harsh word. Karmas. You're living out those karmas like in this life. Uh, I assume that when you take up deeper practices and you're allowing mantra energy to build up inside you, all these desires as well as karmas get neutralized quicker.
Not necessarily. You cannot say neutralized. See, what is the nature of the karma? If you look at it, karma is created by our own making. So there is no other way that it can be removed or neutralized. We have to take charge of our life and complete those karmas in this life. If it's not enough, come back again and again, and complete. But the thing is, while trying to complete those karmas, you have to notice that we are creating more karmas. What is karma? Karma means performing actions, and in brackets, both good and bad. For a normal individual's life, it's a mixture of both, because we are not perfect deities or gods and goddesses that we don't make any mistakes. Out of ignorance, sometimes out of desires, temptations, and in the name of fulfilling certain desires, we don't even know what karmas we are creating, which are sometimes good, sometimes bad for us. And they're all like fixed deposits. You perform a bad action today and it's going to be the result tomorrow. ऐसा नहीं है, हो ही नहीं सकता. Because when you perform an action, not just you are involved in that. There are so many other factors, environment, your relationships with hundreds and thousands of people. This is a web of karma, it is called. It's not very easy to understand its connections. Only a guru knows what it is.
So, if you're engaging with the real world, even if you're trying to do good, you're still accumulating further karmas.
Yeah, because when you say good, it means it's a good karma. The secret of life is connected to these karmas. What is that secret? We come back to life only to reap and enjoy the fruits of the past karmas, which are both good and bad. If you look at Gayatri mantra, Om Bhurbhuvasvaha Tat Saviturvarenyam, I'm not going to explain that. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi. Bhargo, you are requesting the deity to burn off. Bharga means all the karma should be put in a frying pan and then fried in such a way that the seeds of karma will not sprout.
Wow.
That is the meaning of the mantra. I hardly find anyone explaining this part. They give lot of, esoteric meaning, buhu, buha, suha, and all those things. They are all true. But what is important for you as a practitioner, as a sadhaka, is to focus on this word. What is bharga? Just now you said that while performing actions also, we are creating more karmas. This is a very relevant question. That means it shows that you have contemplated a lot on the nature of the karma. Whether it is good or bad, karma is karma. that you have to come back and experience. But for the human mind, bad karmas are miserable to experience, good karmas are very pleasant to experience. But from the point of view of the universe, which is an eyewitness to all that is going on, for them it is one and the same. Whether it is a good karma or bad karma, whether you are miserable or pleasant about it, it is just in quotes a process. So spirituality says, in fact, Swami Rama said such beautiful words on these things. He defines karma. Karma is a rope which binds you. And how that rope is made up of? Three strands. Three strands you take and then make a design out of it to make it a beautiful rope. And that rope is binding you as a individual jiva. Why? What are those three threads? One is your thought process. Behind that is your karma samskara vasanas. Karma samskara vasanas mean they are desires in different forms, influencing your thoughts and emotions. And these thoughts and emotions, supported by karma samskara vasanas of the desires, trigger off your actions. So action only is visible. So when you perform an action and some disaster happens, for example, then we say, oh my God, why did I do this? Or why did it happen, first of all? I am clueless. I am not the type to do this. Why did it happen? I am not able to find an answer for this. And the soul goes through such terrible suffering because there is no rationale behind certain actions that we perform. Your logical mind cannot give any explanation. But what the world wants you is your logical explanation, and it goes by evidences, right? But that is not your true self. That's not what you are. So we are at a loss to understand the connection between the action that I have performed and the result that it is giving. And you said punishment. Yeah, reward and punishment are the two faces of all these actions. So these three strands are binding us, not just one, and binding us so tight that we are not able to shake it off. So we talk big words about freedom in life. The question is, when you understand karma, the secret, the mystery behind karma, you know that you are a bound soul. And this bound soul in Sri Vidya is called Pashu. And one who takes care of this Pashu towards evolution or expansion is called Pashupati, the Lord of the Pashu. So we are humans, but we are Pashu deep within. What is the meaning of Pashu? Animal means we are filled with instincts, impulses. Rationale is very less. Wisdom is very less. And the way we perform actions in our life is also like blindfold.
The average person only associates karmas with actions, but there's a deeper layer of thoughts and emotions, which is then also influenced by a deeper layer of desires on a soul level. So you don't even actually know what your desires are. But on some level, which I think people call the subconscious mind, it may be affecting all your emotions and thoughts, and then your thoughts and emotions take over your actions. That's what can lead to both good and bad actions. So would you say that the core skill to be upgraded here is to somewhat control your desires on a very deep level?
I'm not very happy with the word control. I told you, human beings are bound. We don't have any freedom at all. When you look at the mystery of the karma, then where is the question of controlling? It is to understand and go through those phases. Even the greatest of the greatest souls have gone through terrible karmas. If it's a very bad karma, very painful karma, is a great karma, wonderful karma from the spiritual evolution of the soul. So I congratulate you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And if there is a damage to your personality, it means that you are clearing some karma. So you should be happy about it.
Yeah. All in all, in retrospect, I I feel more still after everything that's happened, which is a nicer feeling. And I feel free. Somewhat, some kind of a burden had accumulated over the years. Now, when you see that burden drop, shoulders feel a little relaxed.
Life goes on like this. And there will come a stage where you are neutral to whether you are passing through good phase or bad phase. Chalo. And that is the phase of, in astrology, Shani period.
Like a Shani Mahadasha.
Shani Mahadasha, Antarja Mahadasha, Sade Sati, anything you call. Well, the planets are outside and their expressions are inside of you. So if you look at the movement of the planetary positions in anybody's life, which is called Kundali or horoscope, it's all about the phases of karmas that it speaks about.
So, the Saturn element in someone's chart eventually teaches them to be neutral about life.
Because Saturn would bring reward and punishment in such frequently in that 7.5 years, whatever that period everybody goes through, that initially you feel suffocated. You want to resist these things. Oh, I don't want unhappiness. I always want happiness. That's what everybody's definition of life is. Then he starts teaching you, no, you have to taste this also if you want the other one. Because they are the two faces of the same coin, sorrow and joy. Then once you start tasting it, and then aadat pad jata hai.
It's fair to say that this happens in everyone's life, right?
It happens in everybody's life.
Right? If you're in a human body, you have to go through.
Greatest of the greatest Mahatmas. Nobody is spared. Only when you have the Guru, proper guidance, then thoda आसान हो जाता है.
I have a friend of mine. She's from a very affluent family, and because of the show, I've learned a tiny amount of astrology. So I was trying to just see her chart, and we're good friends, so she was okay with it. And there was clearly some tiny problem, something in marriage, something in like health. And when I told her all the good stuff, it didn't matter to her at all. But she sat on the bad stuff. And anyone looking at her life from the outside would think she has a perfect life. But in her eyes, she's got a not so perfect life. And so many people around me, spend so much of their time, energy, effort trying to accumulate wealth, thinking that when I have all that wealth, it's going to be the perfect life. And then you become that wealthy and maybe you lose all your health. And then you realize
This
that...
is the story of every individual.
Yeah.
Then tell me, what is perfection? Can you define what is perfection of life?
I'm saying it based on what I have learned in this last year. I think perfection is to just stay still as life happens around you.
Is it so easy to stay still? Especially to a Gemini like you?
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you, if I don't spend my mornings in prayer, or if I don't begin my day somewhat with the prayer element, then I lose my stillness. But as long as it begins with prayer, I find that I'm softer towards the world and myself.
That's a good beginning. Then your whole day should be a prayer. There is nothing a slot like where you sit for prayer and then you are fine about it.
Yeah.
Then it gets extended. And then you don't see a slot where you have to sit for prayers. Then your whole personality, your actions being performed, you stay in that state.
Yeah.
That is the evolution everybody goes through. But unless we are focused about it, the danger of this mind is it gets accustomed to doing prayer as a checklist. Prayer kar liya, theek hai, I am fine for the day. But that's not the truth. It is just following the discipline. Everything that you do around you, you have to check again and again. Are you able to carry that prayerful mood, prayerful mind? Then the real sadhana begins.
When it becomes a part of your breath.
For that, what level of awareness one should develop?
But how do you develop that? Just consciously pulling yourself back.
That is also there. That's also there. But again, doing sadhana.
More. just increasing your sadhana?
And depends on what sadhana we do. Hundreds and thousands of sadhanas are available, especially on YouTube, to can confuse the human mind and especially the younger minds, right? Each sadhana, every sadhana, may not be good for me, for a particular individual. That is the reason why Guru has to choose which sadhana should be given. Otherwise, sometimes when we do the sadhana just on our own, we are clueless where we are heading towards. And when certain experiences happen, spiritual or otherwise, then we are clueless about our own sadhana. And then there is fear, apprehensions, worries, so on, so forth. Choosing a sadhana is also very important in life.
Would you say it's gut feel driven?
Yeah, that's how everybody moves. Because all my initiates who come to me and take the mantra, and then we make a WhatsApp group because I don't want to be disconnected after giving the mantra. But normal fashion around is they take the mantra and the guru also gives the mantra, and they don't know what is happening to the disciple because there is no connection. They come back with so many experiences which they are not able to decode. And most of the time they drop the sadhana because out of fear, not able to understand why this is happening in my life.
As in the outcomes of the sadhana.
Outcomes. Because every mantra is an energy that you are going to recreate in your body, and it's going to stay lodged in your body, right? I really wonder how people just take the mantra on YouTube and then they practice, and then they don't know what they are doing, how they are going about. It's high risk.
I think we definitely began this whole phase of spiritual podcasts, and now it's a movement. Now it's on YouTube throughout. But I'll tell you, like, now I have the luxury of meeting all of you souls, and if every time there's a spiritual soul that walks into my podcast, I look at it as a blessing. It's a lot of light towards me. Uh, but I know my own practice, and I've jumped across practices in my 20s, not too much, but a little bit. And only over the last 3 years, I feel my practices like stabilized fully, and I feel very nice. Like I feel like my personality matches my practice exactly. Um, Now I represent someone who has happened to find that right gut feel oriented practice. But there's a lot of people who are not able to stick to one thing. Their window shopping is still going on. Basically, I'm trying to say that, does the podcast industry enhance the spiritual window shopping?
Opportunities there are there, freedom is there to choose. They keep doing that. But one thing we should not forget, whatever little bit we do towards spirituality is a big step taken, and the universe is watching you.
As in, you're saying the practitioner, if you do anything, it's still a good thing. Don't think so much.
Yeah. See, there are unforeseen impact of certain mantras on them. Even the greatest of the mantra can also affect in a different way. Not because there is a fault in the mantra, but because the confluence of karma, samskara, vasanas, and the phase of karma that person is, but at that point of time he's going through, and when it collides with the mantra, he or she is not able to take it. Mantra is perfect, mantra is fine. This is what I wanted people to understand, that mantra is mantra because it's not the human mind that has made the mantra, but it has come from the universe. So how can it be otherwise? For some people it's good, so for some people it's bad. But it's coming into a combination with that individual soul, with karma that he is carrying on his back. He or she has to go through certain things. But the point is, here comes the strength of the tradition, the strength of the guru who can guide them and make them go through it, because all the karmas cannot be neutralized. That's an answer for your question. All the karmas cannot be controlled. Some of them have to be suffered, or some of the good ones have to be enjoyed. Have to be enjoyed. Sometimes property, money, big money, they are all good things, no? They come to you as bad karmas.
Really?
Yeah. I met a person long ago, about 20, 30 years ago, in Karnataka. What dress he was wearing was one set of dress, that's all he had. And no penny in his pocket. But he was a Karodpati. He gave a big list of his properties. Karodonka Malik. Now, because of the legal issues in his life at that phase of life, he cannot claim even one single property. Even to eat, he has no food, he has to beg in the street. That's how I met him near a restaurant. Doesn't mean that if you have money, you have a very happy life. Not necessarily. Anything, everything can happen. And I also met a diamond merchant from Gadwal area somewhere, which had gone through a very bad phase of you know earthquakes. Overnight, all his property invested in diamonds and the shop.
Because of the earthquakes?
Earthquake gone.
Hmm.
And just
Hmm.
when he woke up, he was a beggar on the street.
Hmm.
And this kind of fate and karma is expressed in a beautiful way in astrology as Rahu, Ketu, and Shani. When they are very strong in your horoscopes with so many, clauses. I'm saying it's just a general observation. I'm not an astrologer, but when you compare your personal life to those phases, you can very clearly see the indication, and they teach you a lot of wisdom how to handle your karma in that phase of life. So these two examples that I gave was a beautiful explanation of what the phase of Rahu in your life can do if he's afflicted. Why did he come, Rahu, at that phase of your life? Because certain karmas are going to sprout now. That needs to be handled, answered, suffered, or enjoyed. So he comes there to show how it is done. So karma is something that needs to be understood properly. Otherwise, what happens? People get into depression. People start thinking nothing is in our hands, everything is predestined.
My whole life till this year, um, I've been a sports fan. And what I've learned from sports is if you have positive energy as a person, if you're kind, if you love your teammates, and obviously if you work hard and stay disciplined, everything else takes care of itself. And then at age 32, life re-taught me that. I think working hard and being disciplined, plus kindness and trying to do what's right, like
It
integrity.
is a deposit for your future life, or
I
maybe next life.
Yeah, I think that's how human life should be. And that these are the two things that should govern your choices.
Because they are all eternal values, you see.
But it doesn't mean it'll protect you from what is anyway meant to happen. Because I remember when all this chaos was happening in my life, the personal life lesson was that even beyond discipline and integrity, you need to be able to chase the ability to be still. Coming back, I think that is so key. My God.
Be still can be a kind of a misgiving to the listener, because when so much of it is happening, the mind cannot be still. It is receiving so many inputs from outside, and it's cooking up its own analysis, and then conclusions about each response you are receiving from the external world. And every time its graph is moving up and down in the mind. I know being still, what you mean is not to respond to it.
One little deeper layer.
Mm.
When I meet people like you, I actually feel like it's the divine talking to me through people like you. Like you're just channelizing the divine. Now, similarly, when your own body and mind go through situations like that, I still look at it as the divine talking to you. Ki there's something happening. What can you do other than sit and observe? So everything is Maya, Leela at the end of the day.
But when that phase, the mind starts asking, telling, then what is the purpose of this life?
Yeah.
Then how do I perform actions so that any karma doesn't bind me? spirituality says most people don't pay attention to this part of the solution. They don't even talk about it. Every action, let it be performed in the realm of surrender. Let every action be performed as an offering to the divine.
This is the key line in this whole podcast. That
It's
is
not me.
yeah.
It's not me. So when something bad also happens, defame phase, you are not there. Then how can it affect you? It's not easy to stay in that phase or that state of mind, but there is a way.
Yeah.
So, karmanyevadikaraste ma paleshu kadachana means this is where it is.
Yeah. This is what got me through.
We perform our actions because we have to. So, our actions are performed according to the desire deep within, subtle, and it is pushing you to do it. Right? Well, when you are forced to perform certain actions, might as well do it with the state that I am not the doer.
I think we've already covered 95% of it. The 5% that's remaining in our conversation is probably the most important aspect of going through a bad phase, which is that when you're at rock bottom, how do you handle yourself? I'm going to begin by just giving some practical input of things that help me. First of all, the 3-4 people around you matter a lot. I think they need to be very positive and ideally spiritual to guide you through it. Second, there has to be some kind of element of prayer or surrender to the divine. Now, third, I'll hand it over to you again.
Coming back to the first one, then the second one you mentioned. Your closest people have to be very positive. My question is, they are your closest people because of the past life connections that you made with these relationships, these jivas only, these souls. They have come back to you and joined you in a different phase of life. So, your bad phase of karma has to fight with, in a good way or in a bad way, connected to those people also. But it need not be always positive. Most probably it will not be positive. That's why it's called bad phase, that you have to fight it alone.
Any tools to fight it alone?
The easiest, but again, the toughest is surrender.
Flow with it.
It's like a big wave is coming. If you try to jump over the wave, it's not possible. What you do? Just bend. Let the storm pass by. So, some great soul has said, this whole life is a training, a learning how to die. It's not about how to live.
That's beautiful.
That means how to die. How do you learn that? Yoga says, Yoga karmasu kaushalam. Yoga is skillful action in life, of life.
Yoga is skillful action of life. Wow.
And in life, both. Why? A yogi knows the map of karma. It never comes to him by surprise. It doesn't give him surprises.
Wow.
And there are karmas. Karmas are three in category. One which have already happened. One are happening in this phase and which is going to happen in the future. Sanchita and Agami. Both bother you. But a yogi is aware of all the three. So what he does is, the only solution for this is, to handle these karmas is, karmasu kaushalam. Means you perform your actions in such an efficient way, kaushalya, skillful way, that it doesn't affect you, it doesn't touch you. Means whole life is a learning to perform action which is not going to touch me. So when it doesn't touch, you're free. When it doesn't touch, there is no reason why you have to come back. Come back to life again.
Which is the goal. That's
Yes.
the actual goal.
Actual goal, the real purpose of your life.
Yeah. There's a beautiful word I learned through the show. It's called Providence.
Ah.
It means the helpful nature of God throughout life.
It's a
And
word often used in Bible.
yeah, yeah. I think it's also called favor. Same thing. Same. When you say, okay, God brings me favor. Uh, you know, I remember in the last 10 years, things were always going upward. But of course, I wanted it to go upward faster. And that's where I would look for Providence to help me. Like, come on, God, help me out. And He would still come and help. But the real skill of Providence is to find it in difficult phases. Shouldn't forget that Providence is there for you even in the worst phase.
See, I will tell you these good phases and bad phases. Again, it is connected to the karma.
Yeah.
It's like you perform a good action, it's like a deposit. So you have a deposit of money, say about 10,000 rupees. I always give this example. And you feel that it should be deposited, not spend karne ki nahi hai. So you go and deposit in the bank. And in those days, FD means they would give a certificate. You can keep that certificate with you. Most of the time, what happens is we keep the certificate and we don't know where it has gone. But 10 years, tenure, ऐसा कुछ 10 years में इतना कुछ हो जाता है life में, you don't even know where you have kept that certificate. So all our actions are like that we perform and we forget about it. But the banker does not forget it. When it matures, 10 years, he will call you. Madam, your FD is matured, you have to come and take it. We cannot say that I am not interested in that matured FD, either good or bad. Then I am not able to come, I cannot come and take it. Then he'll say, no, you cannot do that. You have to come and take it because in bank we don't have any place to handle it. Right? That's how it is. When you deposit good actions and when it matures, whatever you touch, it becomes gold. That you call good phase. That is actually the definition, the unseen, invisible power of that. Anything you touch, then you start feeling, I have not put much efforts. Even if I put efforts also, the desired result doesn't come, right? Many times. That means you are going through a bad phase of your life because your bad actions have started giving fruits of life. But there are certain phases where you find that for the amount of efforts you have put, the results are much more magnanimous. You can see that. You can see that. That's why it's called in Sanskrita Adrishta, fortune, luck. Adrishta. Drishta, that is visible. Adrishta, that is invisible. So certain actions we are not able to understand why and how of it because it is adrishta, unseen. Unseen means it's directly connected to our past actions of this life, maybe past lives. Some give immediate fruits, actions performed, and immediately you get the result. But there are certain karmas which take a very long time to get nourished, strengthen, and then sprout, and then start giving the cause, effect of that cause.
Which is why live life with skill. I'm going to end this particular episode with a quote by Bruce Lee. And it's not a quote that fully fits this episode, but it will protect you from the tough phases. Because this is the quote that protected me. Bruce Lee said that when you're praying to God, ask not for an easy life, but for the strength to endure a difficult one. I think the nature of life is not easy. And no one tells you that in school or college. Everyone just preps you for a family life and for career success. No one tells you that life is going to be difficult. You're going to lose your parents, loved ones. You're going to be alone.
People don't know.
One aspect of what I know about you, Ma, which I've not touched upon at all in this whole conversation, is about your books. You've seen a very different life. You've seen a lot of divine experiences unfold in front of you. If anyone's read any of your books, they'd be blown away by some of the things you've written about. My understanding is that you're documenting your life and experiences for future generations as well.
Exactly.
That's what's happening?
Frankly speaking, I didn't even know that I one day, would come where I would be asked to document these things. I was taken through so many such, what you call supernatural experiences. And I really didn't bother to document them at that point of time when it happened. I didn't have any support or memory of all those things. Then, when the day came when my guru, both the gurus said that you are going to document, you are going to write, then I was at a loss. I don't have any material. When it happened, how it happened, and all those things. But when I really made a sankalpa, a resolution that I am going to do it because my gurus want me to do it, the whole channel opened up. And I was left with a awe that am I capable of doing all these things? So I thought I would just write one book, but it did not end. Last year, Guru Purnima Day, we released the first book, Messages from the Himalayan Sages, Timely and Timeless. That name was also given by the sages. So, with all these experiences, I understood one truth that it's not I who is going to write the book, but they are going to handle and lead me to write these books. So, it has to be an offering to them, back to them. Then again, so many experiences and newer experiences. Many have added very recent ones. It all started gathering in increased in number 100, 300, 400, 1,000, and all that. So I said, okay, then I think they want me to write the second book. This is how I was inspired to write this Messages from the Himalayan Sage. I wanted to keep the same title with just the addition as instead of timely and timeless, visible and invisible. Because how can you serve the Guru? Only by sharing the knowledge that Guru has invested in me, sharing the knowledge with others, Guru will be happy. So, we are going to offer a kind of a practice for 9 days, and people from all walks of life, I want them to join in a big way. Come and seek the blessings of the sages who are the gurus for the coming generations.
When I'm sitting with you, for me, it's very, very wholesome to just sit in front of your human form. But it's always an angle of me also being a part of the long term havan that you're doing. Just
Okay.
want to, move forward the energy that began with your guru lineage. That's how I look at these podcasts. So if I see your name on my schedule, it's a big blessing to just be a small part of your work. That's all I want to say. So thank you, Ma. Just time spent with you is a blessing. That's all I want to
For me also, it was a pleasure. Moreover, I very badly wanted to meet you.
say.
That was the thing. And just a pretext.
Thank you. Thank
That
you so
happened.
much. That was the episode for today, ladies and gentlemen. Send in your feedback about what you thought about our Karma special on TRS. We'll also link Ma's books down below. Make sure you check them out. Make sure you go check out her latest book. And she will be back on the show very soon. So send in your feedback about this episode. Send in what you'd like for us to cover the next time around. These spiritual episodes of TRS are therapeutic for me, and I genuinely hope that they're therapeutic for you as well. So send in your inputs, send in your feedback, and we'll keep delivering. Thank you so much. Lots of love. Stay in peace.